Hello, everybody. Today, I will be talking a little bit more about Pixar Animation Studios. This is what I've chosen to study a little bit more on. Pixar is just something that is very familiar to me. It's very familiar to my childhood, and so I wanted to learn a little bit more about the things that I didn't know about Pixar and the things that kind of stood out to me and make the company who they are. I also know that they're going to be around for a really long time, and so I just wanted to learn more and know more, and I think they're a great company that will be around. So, yeah. Like I said before, we're super familiar with Pixar, and their latest animation success was Toy Story 4. I've seen all the Toy Stories, but I unfortunately did not get to see this one, and so if any of you guys have, I'm sure it was fantastic. So, many of their top hits success include feature films. A feature film can be one of two things. So a newspaper or magazine article or a broadcast program devoted to treatment of a particular topic, typically at length, or it can be defined as a full-length film intended as the main item in a movie theater program. And so I think these movies did a little bit of both. They were devoted to a particular topic, but they also were intended to be a big hit and a big movie. And so we have movies like The Incredibles, which is a story about a not so normal family with superpowers trying to fit into an everyday world. Monsters, Inc. is about two monsters who are trying to be successful at being scary monsters, and they hit a few bumps along the way. Bug's Life, I feel like, was one that just hits home for me, but it's about a bug's life behind the scenes and what it looks like to be a bug, and this particular bug goes on a little adventure, and he encounters other different bugs, and it's quite an awesome story, too. So we also have Cars, which is living fast and furious is a dream for cars, and the movie is about a life of a community of cars. Lightning McQueen, who's the main character, one of them, he wants to race in these fancy race car shows, and when he encounters a small community of cars, they have a thing or two to teach him about racing. WALL-E was one that I enjoyed, but it wasn't one that I watched over and over, but it kind of asks the questions, what will happen to our planet if we keep mistreating it? What will happen as we utilize all its resources? And this robot kind of looks at that in a really human way, which is really fun. Up is one that I actually just watched recently, but Up is a feature about an elderly man who has lost his wife, and now his home is potentially wanting to be torn down to make room for new fancy buildings, and so the story is about him saving his house and remembering his wife. And a little twist gets thrown in when he meets a loving yet determined Boy Scout. So, you may know those things about Pixar, but something you may not know is that Pixar also has short films. The company loves short films because it, along with commercials, were their first ventures in storytelling through film. Innovative storytelling has always been the core of their foundation, and short films allows the freedom to experiment and develop both a new way of telling the story but also utilizing new technology. So many of the short stories are their way of branching out, but then possibly using that in a feature film as well. So they've been the short films have been a huge passion of Pixar's, and they will continue to be as well. So Lou is a short film, and it's about a toy who's stealing there's a toy stealing bully, who ruins recess for a playground full of kids, and Lou must manage the unkind behavior of the schoolyard bully JJ, who has not learned that giving can be so much more fulfilling than taking. Jerry's Game, this is one that I grew up watching, and he basically plays a game of chess against himself all day long in a park, and he's losing to his opponent, which is really him, and just when it's about to be the end of the match, he ends up turning around the tables to win. Both characters have their own personalities, and they have a lot of fun with the two different guys, even though it's the same guy, and the old man is young at heart, and he loves to have fun, loves to make fun of himself, and loves to find new ways to use his dentures. Partly Cloudy is, a story about a stork who everyone knows delivers babies to your doorstep, but the question is where do the storks get the babies? And so the answer lies up in the clouds. It's an adventure about, characters becoming or being in clouds. And there is Buzz, who is a lonely gray cloud, and he is a master at creating dangerous babies. And so there's kind of a little bit of a challenge with Pixar and making this film of just putting a character within a cloud and the movements of a cloud and things like that, just because we don't see that. And so that one was a fun one for Pixar to make. And so, that all being said, Pixar has been a fascinating topic for me to research for this presentation. And next presentation, I want to go a little bit deeper in the new technologies they used. And the two that we'll be talking about is the Renderman and the graphic technologies. And then dive a little bit deeper into Pixar as a whole if we have time. So Pixar has always been the studio that has invested in creativity and technology, and you can tell by their familiar, successful films that, we use and see all the time, but they use creativity and technology to pull that off. And so I'm excited to research more. I'm excited to learn more and tell you guys more. So stay tuned.